this video is about. Aphrodite defends lovers but curse strikes. If this myth excites you, please like the video, share it with friends, and write in the comments how it pulled you into the adventure. Part 1. The Curse of Elysium. In the ancient realm of Elysium, where golden fields stretched beneath a cerulean sky, the gods watched over mortals, weaving fate with threads of destiny. Among them, Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, held sway over hearts, nurturing romance and binding lovers with her divine magic. Her laughter could soothe storms, and her tears could spark the fiercest fires. Yet, within the splendid tapestry of joy she spun, darkness loomed. A curse no one expected began to unfurl. One fateful day, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in hues of crimson, a mortal couple stood at the shores of the Acheron River. Thalassa, a maiden of ethereal beauty, and Lysander, a humble fisherman, shared whispered promises and dreams under the watchful gaze of the stars above. Their love was pure, untainted by the malice of the world, and so Aphrodite decided to bless them. The goddess descended from her celestial abode, cloaked in a silken gown that shimmered like starlight. As she approached, the waters of the Acheron swirled and sparkled, illuminating the lovers with a radiant glow. "O my blessed ones," Aphrodite spoke, her voice as sweet as honey, "I bestow upon you the gift of eternal love. Let your hearts beat as one through all trials." But fate had woven a different design. From the shadows emerged Ares, the god of war, his eyes ablaze with jealousy. "Love breeds weakness, Aphrodite," he thundered, his voice shaking the very earth. "These mortals do not deserve your favor. To love is to invite destruction, and passion is but a prelude to agony." Aphrodite's heart quickened with anger, for she knew Ares craved chaos. "Their love is a light in this world, Ares, a beacon of hope. You cannot extinguish what has been blessed by the gods." Ares, his hands clenched into fists, unleashed a curse that echoed through the realm. "Then let their love be their doom. May betrayal and despair follow them, and may they suffer the trials of 1,000 lifetimes." As the curse slithered into the ether, the air grew heavy with foreboding, and the river's waters darkened. The lovers, unaware of the impending storm, gazed into each other's eyes and felt an unfamiliar tremor ripple through their bond. Days turned into weeks, and Thalassa and Lysander's love flourished, yet shadows lurked. Sensing the curse, Aphrodite sought to protect them further. She gathered the Nereids, water nymphs who danced among the waves, to shield the couple from Ares' wrath. "Thalassa and Lysander must remain together," Aphrodite instructed, her voice resolute. "We must weave a barrier of love around them so their bond may endure." The Nereids, beautiful and fierce, sang a haunting melody that echoed off the waves. A shimmering veil enveloped the lovers, binding them in a sanctum of divine protection. With every note, the air crackled with magic, and for a fleeting moment, hope blossomed anew. Yet Ares was not easily thwarted. In the depths of his fury, he summoned monstrous beasts from the void. The Chimera, a beast with the body of a lion, the tail of a serpent, and the head of a goat. He unleashed them into the realm, commanding them to sow discord and despair. As the sun rose one morning, Thalassa and Lysander ventured deeper into the woods, laughter echoing in the air, when the ground trembled beneath them. The Chimera emerged from a thicket, its growl reverberating like thunder. "You dare claim love in a world of war?" It hissed, baring fangs that glinted in the sun. The lovers stood frozen as the creature lunged, but in that instant, the barrier Aphrodite had woven shimmered. The Chimera's claws clashed against an unseen force, sending ripples through the air. "You are shielded for now," the beast snarled, retreating to plot its revenge. "Lysander," Thalassa gasped, clutching his arm. "What is this creature? Why has it come for us?" "The gods play games with our hearts, my love," he replied, his voice steady but laced with fear. "Ares has cursed us. We must confront this darkness or risk losing everything." With newfound determination, they sought counsel from an oracle dwelling atop Mount Parnassus, a sage who could peer through the veils of fate. Climbing the steep path, They felt the weight of destiny pressing upon their shoulders, each step an echo of the trials that awaited them. Before the oracle, cloaked in shadows and smoke, they knelt. "What must we do to break this curse?" Thalassa implored, her voice trembling. "We seek to protect our love." The oracle's eyes, like pools of wisdom, met theirs. "The path is perilous, brave souls. To weaken Ares, you must find the Heartstone, a gem hidden within the labyrinth of despair. Only through sacrifice will you restore love's sanctity." Lysander nodded, resolve hardening in his heart. "We will face this challenge together. Nothing will break our bond." "Beware," the oracle whispered, "for the labyrinth is a treacherous realm. It feeds on your fears and desires. The cost of your journey will be great." As they descended from the mountain, the couple felt a bittersweet ache in their hearts. They knew they must confront their deepest fears, doubts that whispered insidiously, threatening to unravel the very fabric of their love. The sun's last rays faded, and darkness enveloped them as they approached the labyrinth. Shadows danced ominously, the air thick with sorrow. With a deep breath they entered, hands intertwined, a fragile lifeline against the encroaching abyss. The labyrinth was alive, shifting and twisting, ensnaring them within its serpentine walls. Whispers echoed, taunting them with visions of betrayal, a glimpse of Thalassa with another, Lysander's loyalty cast into doubt. "This is but a mirage," he shouted, resolute against the illusions. Yet the labyrinth fed on their fears. Each corner turned revealed new horrors, a spectral figure of Lysander's past, a woman whose laughter once haunted him, taunting him with memories of inadequacy. "You'll never be enough," she hissed, her voice a dagger to his heart. Thalassa, feeling his anguish, squeezed his hand tighter. "We are stronger together," she cried, channeling Aphrodite's blessings, dispelling the phantom with love's radiance. But the labyrinth retaliated, walls closing in, shadows thickening. "Keep moving," Lysander urged, his voice strained but resolute. "We must find the Heartstone." Together they pressed forward, fighting against the dark tendrils of doubt, determined not to falter. But the labyrinth's strength was relentless. It conjured visions of loss, of a world without each other, of love overshadowed by despair. Thalassa fell to her knees, her heart heavy with the burden of fear. "What if we fail?" she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Then we shall face that fate together," Lysander declared, kneeling beside her. "I would rather face oblivion with you than live a lifetime without your love." His words sparked a flame within her. "You're right," she breathed, rising to her feet. "We will not let the darkness claim us. We fight for our love, for our future." With renewed determination, they pressed deeper into the labyrinth, a force of unity against despair. The walls shifted and writhed, the air crackling with tension, but the light of their love began to pierce the gloom. At long last they reached a glimmering chamber, at its heart a pulsating stone, a colossal gem radiating warmth and light. "The Heartstone," they gasped in unison. Yet before they could approach, the chimera reared up, its eyes ablaze with fury. "You seek the stone, but it shall be your undoing," it roared, lunging toward them. "Stand firm," Lysander shouted, drawing courage from the depths of his heart. Together, they summoned the power of their love, weaving it into a shield that shimmered against the beast's ferocity. As the chimera charged, Thalassa held her ground. "We are stronger than your hate," she cried, channeling the very essence of Aphrodite's blessing. "We fight for love, for every heart that has ever dared to dream." In a blinding flash of light, the shield exploded outward, engulfing the chimera. The creature shrieked, its form unraveling like smoke, dissipating into nothingness. With the beast defeated, the lovers approached the Heartstone, its warmth enveloping them in a radiant embrace. They clasped it together, feeling its power surge through them, binding them in an unbreakable bond. As they held the stone, the curse began to unravel. Ares' laughter echoed, but it turned to a furious roar as the barriers of darkness shattered. The weight of despair lifted, the labyrinth began to dissolve around them, revealing the sunlit realm of Part 2, the Heartstone's light. The sunlight pierced through the remnants of the labyrinth, illuminating Thalassa and Lysander as they stood triumphant, the heartstone pulsating with an otherworldly brilliance in their grasp. A sweet melody whispered through the air, a hymn of love and hope. But the victory was bittersweet. Ares' wrath was far from subdued. He loomed in the ether, a storm of rage personified. "Fools," he thundered, his voice rolling across the heavens like distant thunder. "You think you can defy the will of a god? Love is a fleeting ember, easily snuffed." His presence darkened the sun and the ground trembled. The lovers exchanged resolute glances, their hands tightening around the heartstone. Its warmth radiated through them, a reminder of their shared purpose. "We are not mere mortals to be toyed with," Thalassa shouted, her voice ringing with defiance. "Our love is forged in trials, stronger than any curse you can cast." In response, Ares unleashed a bolt of searing lightning, striking the ground before them. The earth cracked, and jagged fissures snaked across the ground, opening up vast chasms teetering on the brink of chaos. "Brace yourself," Lysander yelled, pulling Thalassa close as they leaped away from the onslaught. The bolt shattered the earth, sending shards of rock flying. They stumbled backward, hearts racing as they found themselves at the edge of the chasm, the void yawning beneath them. Together, Thalassa urged, spotting a narrow ridge that led away from the danger. They sprinted across it, the roiling darkness beneath them a constant reminder of what failure would mean. With each step, the heartstone's light pulsed brighter, illuminating the way forward. Yet Ares was relentless. He summoned forth his warriors, shrouded figures clad in dark armor, hearts twisted by envy. They emerged from the shadows, brandishing weapons forged in the fires of anguish, hunger for despair glimmering in their eyes. "Face my legion," Ares roared, and the warriors charged, their cries echoing like a dark symphony that reverberated through the air. "Stand your ground," Lysander shouted, raising the heartstone high above them. "With this, we shall turn back the tide of hatred." The heartstone blazed with light, radiating a protective shield that expanded outward, pushing back the oncoming horde. The warriors faltered, momentarily blinded by the brilliance, but their resolve hardened and they pressed on, undeterred. "Do not relent," Thalassa cried, positioning herself beside Lysander. "We fight for love, for every soul that has dared to embrace the light." Their voices intertwined, forming a powerful chant that resonated through the battlefield. The warriors hesitated, their movements faltering as the radiant energy of the heartstone splayed against the encroaching darkness. But Ares in his fury summoned the chimera once more. Emerging from the shadows, it raged with newfound ferocity, its roars shaking the ground beneath them. "You think you've won," it bellowed, smoke billowing from its nostrils. "Your light is but a flicker against the storm." "Not this time," Lysander shouted, his resolve unyielded. Together they unleashed the heartstone's power. A beam of light erupted from it, piercing the air toward the beast, illuminating its grotesque form. The chimera howled, caught in the blinding brilliance. "Now Thalassa," Lysander shouted. With a fierce determination, Thalassa focused her heart's energy into the light. "For love, for honor," she cried, launching the radiant beam toward the chimera. It enveloped the creature in a cocoon of shimmering magic. The beast writhed, its forms twisting and distorting, caught in the purifying embrace of love's light. With one last guttural roar, the chimera erupted in a conflagration of colors, its essence scattering into a million sparks that scattered across the sky like stars being born anew. With a fierce determination, they turned to face the legion of warriors, emboldened by their triumph. "Let us finish what we started." Thalassa rallied, her voice rising above the din of battle. The warriors, momentarily shaken, charged again, but the light of the heartstone surged within Thalassa and Lysander. They joined hands, and together they conjured a wave of energy that swept through the battlefield, illuminating every corner with a vibrancy that pierced the darkness. "Witness the power of love," they cried in unison. The energy washed over the warriors, and their malevolent spirits faltered, replaced by confusion and doubt. Many dropped their weapons, casting them into the chasms of despair they once thrived on, while some turned and fled toward the shadows from which they came. But Ares, enraged by the audacity of the mortals, descended from the heavens with the force of a tempest. His divine form glowed ominously, a tempest of chaos and fury. "You think you can defy me? You will pay for your insolence." "I am not afraid of you, Ares," Thalassa declared, her voice unwavering. "You may be a god of war, but you know nothing of true strength." "Strength," he scoffed, his eyes narrowing. "Strength is born of betrayal and bloodshed. It is forged on the battlefield, not in the hearts of love-struck mortals. True strength is the ability to rise above hatred." Lysander shouted back, gripping Thalassa's hand tightly. "We face you not with weapons, but with the light of our love." The Heartstone pulsed wildly in response, its light mingling with the shadows that Ares cast. The clash of their energies sent shockwaves through the ground, shaking the very fabric of Elysium. "You dare challenge me?" Ares roared, launching himself at them. Together, they shouted, uniting their wills as the Heartstone flared, redirecting its energy toward the god of war. In a blinding flash, light erupted between them and Ares, a vortex of love and defiance. The force collided with Ares' dark energy, and the battlefield trembled with the intensity of their clash. Fury transformed into fear as Ares felt himself being pushed back. His powers wavered against the resolute bond, radiating from Thalassa and Lysander. "No," he bellowed, desperation creeping into his voice. "This cannot be. Love is weak. It cannot stand against a god. Love is strength." Thalassa cried, the Heartstone glowing like a beacon. "It is the fire that gives us courage to fight, to stand against darkness." The light surged, engulfing Ares, drawing him into a whirlwind of brilliance. The darkness around him began to unravel, and for the first time, the god of war felt an inkling of doubt, a tremor of vulnerability. "Release me," he roared, but his voice cracked under the weight of the power that bound him. "Only if you acknowledge the power of love," Lysander shouted, his heart racing. "Only then will the curse be broken." And in that moment, Ares felt the truth of their words. Love had not only illuminated their path, it had forged a bond strong enough to challenge even the mightiest of gods. His fury waned, and he began to realize the futility of his rage. I see now," he muttered, the shadows receding from his form. "Your love is a fire I cannot extinguish." With a final surge of light, Ares was enveloped, trapped within the Heartstone's radiant embrace. The battlefield fell silent, and as the light faded, revealing the serene beauty of Elysium once more, a profound stillness settled over the realm. Thalassa and Lysander stood panting, their bodies trembling from the exertion. The weight of the Heartstone felt lighter in their hands, and as they gazed at each other, tears of joy filled their eyes. "We did it," Lysander whispered, wrapping his arms around Thalassa, drawing her close. "Against all odds, we prevailed." "It was never just us," she replied softly, her fingers tracing the Heartstone's surface. "It was the love we shared, the bond we forged through every trial." As they embraced, a gentle breeze swept through the fields, their laughter mingling with the whispers of the Nereids who had watched over them. The sun shone brighter, celebrating the triumph of love over hatred, and the flowers bloomed with renewed vigor, a testament to the couple's unwavering spirit. Yet the journey was not over. Unknown to them, Ares' rage simmered, his defeat a mere setback, and the specter of vengeance loomed. But for now, in the realm of Elysium, love had triumphed, illuminating the darkness and forging a path forward. Little did they know, their next challenge awaited just beyond the horizon, a new test of their bond, and the gods' game was far from over. As they turned towards the horizon, their hearts ignited with determination, ready to embrace whatever trials lay ahead. "Together we face the gods," Lysander vowed, his voice steady. Part 3, The Gathering Storm. As Thalassa and Lysander stood upon the verdant hills of Elysium, the horizon shimmered with the promise of a new dawn, yet an unsettling chill swept through the air. The winds carried whispers from the underworld, and the very sky seemed to shudder. Unbeknownst to them, Ares seethed in the depths of despair, his fury festering like an open wound. "Fools!" he bellowed amidst the shadows of his darkened domain, emerald flames flickering in his eyes. "I will not be defeated so easily." With a wave of his hand, he summoned forth specters of fallen warriors, their faces twisted in anguish. "Rise, my loyal servants, we shall reclaim what is rightfully ours." From the abyss, the undead warriors emerged, their skeletal forms draped in tattered remnants of armor. They marched forth, eyes glowing with vengeance, ready to unleash chaos upon the realm of love. For Ares, they shrieked in unison, their voices a cacophony of despair. Meanwhile, on the shores of Elysium, Thalassa and Lysander reveled in their victory, the heartstone warm in their grasp. But the moment was fleeting, as the ground trembled beneath them, a harbinger of the storm to come. "Did you feel that?" Thalassa asked, her brow furrowing in concern. "It's a warning," Lysander replied, his voice steady. "Ares will not rest until he dismantles everything we hold dear." "We must seek Aphrodite," Thalassa urged, determination igniting her steely gaze. "She will know the way to counter his wrath." With hands intertwined, they raced across the vibrant fields, the heartstone radiating warmth, guiding their path toward the sacred grove of Aphrodite. The flowers danced around them, oblivious to the gathering storm, as the couple whispered sweet affirmations of love, fortifying their spirits against the impending darkness. As they approached the grove, radiant light poured from its heart, a sanctuary where passion thrived. There, amidst the blossoms, Aphrodite emerged, her beauty ethereal, her eyes reflecting the turmoil of the world. "My beloved children," she greeted, her voice a soothing balm amidst the chaos. "You return to me, and I sense the shadows lurking." "Ares is not finished with us," Lysander confessed, his voice heavy with the weight of their trials. "He gathers his warriors to strike once more." Aphrodite's brow furrowed. "His fury knows no bounds. You must stand united, for love's strength will be tested anew. The heartstone is powerful, but it alone cannot vanquish him." "What must we do?" Thalassa asked, hope flickering like a candle in the tempest. "In the depths of the forgotten veil lies the chalice of harmony," Aphrodite explained, urgency threading her words. "It is said to amplify the powers of love and bind the hearts of warriors. You must retrieve it before Ares unleashes his horde." Lysander nodded, resolve hardening within him. "We will find the chalice and return to protect Elysium." "Beware," Aphrodite warned, her expression grave. "The forgotten veil is fraught with deception, where illusions entwine with reality. Trust your hearts and remember the strength of your bond." With her blessing, they set forth, the heartstone illuminating their path as they ventured into the murky depths of the veil. The air grew thick, shadows swirling ominously, and the once vibrant atmosphere transformed into a chilling labyrinth of doubt. Cautiously, they stepped into the veil, where twisted trees loomed like forgotten sentinels. The fog coiled around them, thickening with each stride, and whispers echoed through the air, voices of lost lovers, warning of betrayal and despair. "Thalassa, stay close," Lysander urged, a pang of unease gripping his heart. "I won't let go," she assured him, her hand tightening around his. "We will overcome this darkness together." Suddenly, the veil trembled and twisted forms emerged from the shadows, nightmarish visions of their worst fears. Thalassa found herself surrounded by specters of betrayal, images of Lysander entwined with another woman, laughter echoing in the void. "Is this how you repay my love?" The phantom hissed, its voice a dagger in her heart. "You are not worthy of his devotion." "Silence," Thalassa shouted back, fierce determination igniting within her. "You are nothing but a shadow born of fear. Our love is true." Meanwhile, Lysander faced an apparition of his past, a specter of insecurity, a figure clad in armor, wielding a mocking smile. "You're weak, Lysander," it taunted, an echo of his doubts. "You will never be enough for her." "Get away from me," he roared, summoning every ounce of strength. "Your words have no power here." With a flick of the heartstone, he channeled its radiant energy, casting the apparition into oblivion. "I fight for love, for Thalassa," "You cannot break us." The shadows recoiled, the voices faltering as the couple pressed forward, their bond shining brighter than the encroaching darkness. They fought through each illusion, hand in hand, their resolve unshaken. Finally, they stumbled upon a glimmering pool within a clearing, the chalice of harmony perched upon a pedestal of twisting vines. Its surface shimmered with liquid light, pulsing with a heartbeat of its own. "Thalassa, we found it," Lysander exclaimed, joy flooding his chest. But as they approached, a sinister figure emerged from the shadows, an embodiment of Ares' wrath, clad in dark armor, his eyes glinting like cold steel. "Foolish mortals," the figure boomed, his voice echoing like thunder. "You think you can claim the chalice unchallenged? It belongs to the god of war. We don't fear you." Thalassa shouted defiantly, stepping resolutely forward. "Love's light will pierce your darkness. Brave words, but let's see if your hearts can withstand my might." He lunged at them, drawing a wicked sword that shimmered menacingly, thirsting for battle. Together, Lysander yelled, the heartstone flaring with energy as they summoned their courage. In a flash, they conjured a barrier of light, deflecting the blow aimed at them. The clash of energies sent shockwaves through the veil, reverberating like a battle cry. "Your love cannot shield you from the wrath of a god." The figure roared, charging again. Thalassa, drawing upon the heartstone's power, hurled a radiant bolt toward him. "We are stronger than your hate," she cried, the force of love coursing through her. The light struck true, engulfing the dark figure in a cocoon of brightness. For a fleeting moment, doubt flickered in his cold eyes and he staggered back. "No, this cannot be. Love prevails," Lysander declared, their voices uniting in a chorus. Together, they focused all their energy into a final, blinding surge, illuminating the veil with a brilliance that cast out the shadows. The figure howled, the darkness unraveling around him as he was consumed by the light. With a desperate scream, he dissipated into the ether, leaving only silence in his wake. Breathless, Thalassa and Lysander approached the chalice, its beauty radiant. They clasped it together, feeling its power surge through them, a harmonious symphony of love and strength. With the chalice in hand, they turned to leave, but the veil trembled once more, a final test of their resolve. The shadows gathered, coalescing into a towering figure, the embodiment of Ares himself, fury etched across his features. "Fools," he thundered, his voice shaking the very ground. "You dare defy me again? We stand united, Ares," Lysander declared, drawing strength from the chalice. "Your love is a weakness," Ares responded, the darkness swirling around him. "You will kneel before me, and I will reclaim what is mine." "Not today," Thalassa shouted defiantly. "We will fight for love, for every soul that has dared to hope." As they raised the chalice high, it glowed with an otherworldly light, a beacon of defiance against the storm. Ares charged, but they would not falter. With every ounce of strength, they unleashed the chalice's power, a surge of radiant energy that illuminated the veil in a dazzling explosion. Caught in the tempest of love's light, Ares staggered, his fury faltering against the warmth that enveloped him. "No, this cannot be. Love is nothing. Love is everything," Lysander roared, their voices intertwined, a testament to their bond. "It is the fire that gives us strength to rise." With a blinding flash, the light consumed Ares, unraveling the darkness that had cloaked him. He howled as the power surged through the veil, dispelling the shadows that had once thrived in his presence. As silence fell, the echoes of the past faded, and a serene calm enveloped the veil. Thalassa and Lysander stood firm. Part 4. The Echoes of Vengeance. In the aftermath of their glorious victory, Thalassa and Lysander stood amidst the ruins of the forgotten veil, the chalice of harmony clutched tightly in their hands. A serene light enveloped the clearing, shimmering like a promise fulfilled, yet the air remained thick with tension. Though they had vanquished Ares' dark specters, shadows lingered, whispers of vengeance dancing at the edges of their minds. "Can we truly rest, my love?" Thalassa asked, her voice a mix of hope and anxiety. "Ares will not easily forget this defeat." Lysander gazed into her eyes, seeing the flicker of doubt mirrored in his own heart. We have the chalice, and together, we possess the strength to face any challenge. We must return to Aphrodite and understand what comes next. As they turned to leave, a sudden tremor coursed through the ground beneath them. The earth cracked, and the air shimmered with an ominous energy. A low growl rumbled from the depths of the veil, reverberating like the roar of an awakening beast. "It cannot be," Lysander breathed, instinctively pulling Thalassa closer. The shadows coalesced, twisting into a form both familiar and terrifying. From the depths emerged the chimera, its eyes blazing with a fury that mirrored Ares' own. "You thought you had vanquished me." The chimera snarled, its voice a chorus of growls and hisses. "Love cannot shield you from the wrath of a god. Face us then." Thalassa shouted defiantly, raising the chalice high, its golden surface glowing with a warm light. "We are not afraid of your darkness." The chimera lunged, its powerful form barreling toward them, jaws snapping like thunder. Lysander's heart raced. "Together," he cried as they conjured a shield of light, the chalice channeling their love's essence. The barrier flared, meeting the beast's attack with a brilliant flash. But the chimera was relentless. It twisted in midair, claws raking against the shield as it snarled. "You think this light can save you? I will shatter your hearts one by one." With each strike, the ground beneath them shook and the shield flickered ominously. "We must strike back," Lysander shouted above the din. "Channel all our love into the chalice." Thalassa nodded, determination blazing in her eyes. For love, for honor. Together, they poured their hearts into the chalice, feeling its power surge as a radiant beam burst forth, illuminating the veil in a cascade of golden light. The chimera recoiled, caught in the brilliance, its growl turning to a shriek of despair. "No, this light, it burns." It howled, thrashing wildly as the energies of love overwhelmed its dark essence. "Now finish it," Lysander commanded, and Thalassa focused with all her might, directing the beam toward the heart of the creature. The explosion of light engulfed the chimera, and with a deafening roar, it disintegrated into a swirl of shadows, dissipating like mist in the dawn. Breathless, the lovers stood amidst the fading darkness, the chalice warm in their hands. Yet they knew this was not the end. Ares, whispers lingered in the air, a promise of vengeance that would not easily fade. "We must return to Aphrodite," Thalassa said, her voice trembling with the weight of impending darkness. "We need her guidance." With a resolute nod, Lysander took her hand, and together they set forth, hearts racing with the remnants of battle. The journey back to the sacred grove felt eternal, the shadows growing thicker as if Ares himself was stalking them, ready to strike at their most vulnerable moment. As they approached the grove, the vibrant colors of Elysium dimmed. The flowers wilted, their petals falling like tears upon the ground. A sense of urgency propelled them forward, and as they broke through the threshold of the grove, they found Aphrodite waiting, her expression grave. "My beloved children," she spoke softly, her voice heavy with sorrow. "I sense the turmoil you faced. Ares grows desperate and his wrath is unyielding." "We defeated the chimera," Thalassa reported, her voice filled with both pride and uncertainty. "But we fear this is only the beginning." Aphrodite's brow furrowed, her beauty tinged with concern. "Ares will retaliate. He has unleashed his most potent weapon upon you, the Warbringers, his greatest champions. They are the souls of fallen warriors, twisted by rage, and they will stop at nothing to dismantle your love. Then we must unite our strength," Lysander declared, gripping the chalice tightly. "We cannot allow Ares to claim victory over love." Aphrodite nodded, her eyes sparkling with resolve. "To face the Warbringers, you will need more than the chalice. You must find the sword of unity, forged in the fires of passion and tempered in the trials of love. It lies hidden within the cave of echoes, guarded by the spirits of the forgotten." "Where is this cave?" Thalassa asked, determination igniting within her. "Far to the east, past the veil of shadows," Aphrodite explained. "But beware, for the cave is a treacherous labyrinth of sound, and only those pure of heart can navigate its depths." Without hesitation, they set forth once more, hearts aflame with determination, knowing the fate of their love, and perhaps all of Elysium, hung in the balance. As they journeyed, the landscape shifted, the vibrant hues of Elysium dimming into a somber palette. The veil of shadows loomed before them, a vast expanse of darkness, heavy with despair. Gnarled trees reached toward the sky like skeletal fingers, and the air was thick with foreboding. "Stay close," Lysander whispered, sensing the weight of the shadows encroaching upon them. As they ventured deeper, the shadows began to swirl, coalescing into whispered echoes, voices of lost souls entwined with confusion and regret. "You will fail," one voice hissed, a chilling reminder of their past struggles. "You will lose everything you hold dear." "Begone, shadows," Thalassa shouted defiantly, channeling the warmth of the chalice. "You have no power here." The shadows recoiled, but they surged back louder, more insistent. "Your love is a fleeting dream, a lie spun by desperate hearts. You cannot escape the truth." "Enough," Lysander bellowed, drawing forth the chalice and raising it high. "We will not succumb to your lies. Our love is our strength, and we will face whatever darkness comes our way." The shadows writhed, but their force began to weaken against the light radiating from the chalice. "No, you cannot," they shrieked, but the light engulfed them, scattering the whispers into silence like ashes in the wind. With renewed determination, they pressed on, the light guiding their way until they reached the entrance of the Cave of Echoes. The shadows faded, replaced by an eerie silence as they stepped inside. The cave expanded before them, walls glistening with a crystalline sheen, and the air hummed with an energy that felt both ancient and alive. "Listen closely," Lysander cautioned, stepping forward. "The echoes will test us. We must focus on our love and not be swayed." As they ventured deeper, the echoes began, soft whispers that morphed into haunting melodies, each note a reminder of their fears, their past. Thalassa stepped forward, her heart racing. "We will not be broken." Together, Lysander urged, holding her hand tightly. "Our hearts are united and love guides our path." The echoes morphed into images, visions of betrayal and loss, reflections of their deepest insecurities. "You are not worthy," screamed a voice, a faceless figure appearing in the shadows, cloaked in doubt. "You will never overcome the darkness." "Shut your mouth," Thalassa shouted, an ember of defiance igniting within her. "We are stronger than you know." As they pressed onward, the echoes grew more ferocious, becoming a cacophony of despair. "You will fall. You will lose everything," they cried, the walls vibrating with anguish. But Lysander tightened his grip on Thalassa's hand. "We stand strong together. Our love will guide us through this darkness." With every step, the echoes battled against their resolve, but the light of the chalice pulsed with warmth, a reminder of their bond. "Together," they cried, their voices merging into a symphony of defiance. Finally, they reached a grand chamber, its ceiling towering above them, reflecting the glowing light of the chalice. At its center lay the Sword of Unity, embedded in a pedestal of crystal, shimmering with ethereal energy. "Look," Thalassa gasped, rushing forward. "The sword." But as she approached, figures erupted from the shadows, clad in dark armor, eyes glowing with wrath. The Warbringers had come, sent forth by Ares' unyielding desire for vengeance. "Fools," the lead Warbringer spat, brandishing a cruel blade. "You dare claim the sword of